What's going on, boys? How you doing, Gravinder, Ricky, Ginger, G Money? How you guys doing? I hope you guys had a blessed week. I know MSL just absolutely crushed it this week. Again, Mamba's been on a roll. This man's been rolling. So just when someone gets on a hot streak, just kind of look for them, But absolutely killer week. We crushed it both downside and upside. Puts, calls, whatever the market brings, we're gonna kill it. We got lots of people in here with lots of different opinions, lots of great traders, lots of different views. Just make sure if you're following someone that you agree with their play. Don't just randomly take someone's play. Let's say someone let's say, I'm not going to take any names, but let's say someone made 10K today and they're posting their profits and then they post a trade. You don't even know what the trade is. You don't even look at the chart. You don't know why they're entering. They have like 10K of profit to play in that trade while you're just taking your first trade of the day. You don't want to start with a loss. You know what I mean? What's up, Tonka? So make sure anytime anyone calls anything out, I know it seems like you have to get in right away. It's going to fly right away. Just be patient. More often than not, that price will come back. So don't be too in a rush. Don't have FOMO. Don't have greed. Just check it out for yourself and make sure you agree with it before jumping in. Other than that, I mean, anyone can say anything right here, but what I'm seeing right now on the charts, it doesn't matter what's going on. There's World War III, there's COVID, there's economy crash, whatever the hell. These two candles on SPY are bullish. They're bullish. I know. Daily, very bullish two candles. This is exactly what you want to see in a short squeeze. It's exactly the type of 2 days you want to see off a bottom. And for right now, there's no reason to be bearish. Not a single chance. What's up, Andrew? If you want to be bearish, in my opinion, you have to wait for a reason to be bearish. What's a reason to be bearish? I have a rule, 3 gap ups in a row, I am not buying calls. If we gap up on Monday, I will get rid of the rest of my calls and I'll probably lean bearish. Doesn't mean I'm going to enter bearish, it just means I'm not going to enter swing calls. 3 days in a row, gap ups or gap downs, don't fall. In my opinion, that's just my rule. You guys might have experienced differently, but that's my rule. Monday, SPY gap up. I'm not swinging calls on Monday. Just getting out of what I have. And then we'll wait for the next move, right? So what I see for SPY now, daily, obviously I told you it looks like an exact bottom. Huge volume came in yesterday. Look at the volume from yesterday. So what I told you was near a bottom, you usually have high volume days. We've only had we've had these 4, I guess. But look at this bottom here. Look at the high volume here, right? This bottom here, high volume capitulation, high volume capitulation, high volume capitulation. And that's usually what happens near the bottoms. You get high volume, which means the sellers are running out of gas and the bulls start jumping in. And that's what we've been seeing for this last little while here. So if this is the bottom, it's very possible capitulation is happening and we turn back up. Let's see. Monday, not only is Monday the last day of February, which will close the monthly candles, but look at this weekly candle. How much more bullish can a weekly candle get than this master hammer? So right now I am leaning bullish. The perfect scenario for me for bulls, in my opinion, would be a flat or gap down on Monday where we go and take the high of day. That would be the most bullish scenario there is. If we straight gap up on Monday, it's going to be tricky. If we open flat or slightly down and then we go and take out the high of day, I think the lows are in. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but based on what I've seen in the past, that's just what I'm leaning towards. Monday will also mark the close of the monthly candles all over the place. So another thing you have to watch is 442.86. 442.86 is the 8-day moving average on the monthly. If we get up there on Monday, that's another very bullish sign. Trading is all about probabilities. All the probabilities can line up in your favor and we can still be wrong. But when the probabilities continuously line up for you, that's when you become more and more confident in your play. So 442.86 is the 8-day moving average on the monthly. If we close above there, the bull just keeps going on. That whole dip was fake, whatever, and we just keep cruising. Let's see, there's a lot of unknowns. The Fed, the war, everything, inflation, but technically wise, that looks right now like a temporary bottom. We have to see Monday's close to confirm it. QQQ, we had this huge support zone I gave you guys on the newsletter. We just cruised right through it. Yesterday just ripped right through it. We closed inside of it. And today, most important level in QQQ right now is the top of this yellow box, which would be 341.68. I do not want to see any close below 341. 68 on QQQ, and that will continue the theory that this is the bottom. Other than that, we have to see the monthly again. Closes on Monday, and if we're not going to get to the 8-day on here. It's 364, so QQQ will not regain, but we did hold the 21-day, which is at 328. We dipped below it, but we'll close the monthly above it, barring a disaster over the weekend. So keep an eye on those monthly closes, guys. XLF, nice bounce back today. It was the weakest one yesterday, strongest one today. Look at that bounce back. So we've had this support line all the way from June. We dumped below it a couple of times, but then the candle always gets saved on the daily. Look at, they dumped it way below it, went up and closed above it. Did it again this day, again this day, again. So every time they held it on the last dip. This time we actually island gap down. So this is what's called an island gap. When it just sells off furiously and then there's a big gap down, that's called seller exhaustion. And look at the move that XLF gave us today. A 3.23% up day on XLF is not a small thing. That's a big move. Yesterday, obviously the percentage was smaller because we opened lower, but today, insane move. 3.21%. Look at the weekly on this one, how it closed. Absolute hammer candle to save that weekly support. So everything right now is saved. I don't know if this is painting the candle and they're going to dump it on us next week. It's definitely possible. But for now, Friday close, everything is looking very, very bullish. You look at the IWM weekly as well. It's actually, yeah, so IWM weekly, let's see what it did on this. The weekly did not save the bear flag, so we had this weekly breakdown, 3 weeks red in a row. Little bear flag and breakdown. Very nice hammer candle, but we are still underneath that little breakdown bear flag. So IWM's banging its head on some resistance. That is a sign of caution. You look at the monthly candle, it's probably absolutely ugly. Actually, monthly candle on Monday closes like a hammer, looks very nice. XLF also. After all the carnage we went through this month, after everything, we might just close with another doji on XLF. It's still above the 8-day moving average as well. So these are all bullish trends longer term. And everyone's expecting a complete crash, which is always a bad thing. The crashes come in the stock market when no one is expecting them. Right now, everyone is expecting the market to dump. That's why I still think there's going to be a melt up this year. Like complete melt up. And VIX is coming down. Very bearish candle yesterday, as you guys seen. Huge spike. It looks like buyer exhaustion on VIX and straight down. So yesterday we went from 37 all the way down to $37 down yesterday. And today we went down. So basically we went down $10 on VIX in the last 2 days. Very good for market rallies. And if you look at these candles are pretty rare. When you see these big bearish candles on VIX, like you've seen here, look at the follow through, right? Look at the follow through. And let's see if VIX can come down and take out this low of 23.88 right here and come revisit. If VIX comes back down to 20, there's going to be a huge rally in the market. So that's what I'm waiting for there. And if you look at the monthly candle, it's just an inside candle. We failed to take out last month's highs, even though we had war, we had inflation, we had the Fed unsure of stuff. We still couldn't take out last month's highs. So let's see. It's ending on a doji. It could go either way. Monday we'll decide how this candle closes and we'll see where we're going from there. Facebook. So Facebook, I was very vocal about it. I showed you guys my reasoning. I took some calls today. Why did I take the calls? When I took the calls? Basically what I did was had the 5-minute chart open here. 5-minute chart, I had a line drawn from yesterday's high. So yesterday's high of the day was around 208.35. As you see, we closed above it. As soon as we retook it, that's bullish for Facebook intraday. We retook it, but obviously we went right back below. This is all just nonsense in my opinion. The real move will probably come next week. Why do I say it's nonsense? Yesterday's high, as soon as we opened below it and retook it, that's bullish. It pulled back. I grabbed calls here. I held them through all this garbage. They were down a bit. I averaged down a bit. It was too heavy at one point. That's why I stopped talking. But I knew my play. It's farther out. I wasn't playing the 5-minute chart. I'm watching this daily. I'm watching the weekly. I'm watching the monthly. And just looking at it, daily wasn't what I was really watching. I was watching the weekly. So why was I watching the weekly? If you guys look at these Bollinger Bands, I explained to you. The lower band is the extreme for the low. The higher band is the extreme for the high. And prices usually revert to the mean, which is that middle blue band right here. All right. So what happened was I looked at the last earnings they had. This is a disaster earnings, right? Let's zoom in here. I just want to teach you guys this. Go in the weekend with some new knowledge. So this is what I was looking at. So we had disaster earnings dump off, right? We ended 1 week below the Bollinger Band, 2 weeks below the Bollinger Band, and 3 weeks below the Bollinger Band, right? And then we went on a tear for the next like 6-7 weeks. So what are we seeing on Facebook right now? All right. Look at this Facebook. 1 week we closed below the Bollinger Band. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This is the 4th week now. So what does that tell you? Facebook is due for a huge bounce. Not by next week, but next week I'm sure we close. I'm like 99.9% sure Facebook will re-enter this Bollinger Band, which is right now at 214. I took 215 calls. I thought I would get the move today, so the weekly would close inside. It did not close inside, but look at this hammer candle, which tells me Facebook is ready for a big run. Same thing on the monthly, guys. It's the first time in history that Facebook will close outside the monthly Bollinger Band since Facebook became a company on the monthly. It's never closed outside. Wait, has it? That was a lie. It closed right here, and the next month we went up 27% on Facebook. So right now, on Monday, if we close below this Bollinger Band, which is at 217 on the monthly, I'm looking at April calls for Facebook for like 250. This thing's gonna rip, in my opinion. That's what I see on the charts longer term, and that's usually you guys see in my success rate. So Facebook April 250s, keep them on your watch list. CrowdStrike, same kind of play. This one was more on the daily. I didn't even look at the weekly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Daily, we had this bear flag. We had a big dump off, bear flag, breakdown. Big dump off, bear flag, breakdown. Then we finally, you guys see this bear flag? We never got back to it, right? We rejected off the 21 day. What happened this time? One day, we went up 21 bucks. Well, more than that, actually. We went up like $31 from the low to the high. Reclaimed that bear flag. And then this morning, let me zoom in for you guys, where I entered those 190 calls was the retest of this bear flag line. So we had this support on the bear flag that broke. Once we reclaim it, this resistance turns into support now. So as soon as we came back down and touched it, I grabbed 190s for next week. You guys all know how that happened. I think Mamba probably made 25K off it. Congrats. I was not that heavy, but I made a nice chunk of change off it as well. It lagged all day. I bought it right here. It lagged all day. Premiums went up, premiums went down. And then finally, at the end of the day, NVIDIA got that cybersecurity news, and it started ramping up again. We didn't even get back to high of day. We closed actually red on the day from where we opened. But for right now, CrowdStrike held that support, and looks like if we can get above the 50-day moving average at 185, I think it can make a move all the way to over $200 on CrowdStrike. So keep an eye on this one. AXP, I took puts for April. Why did I take them? I have far out puts, first of all. Second of all, I have to change this. I watch a bunch of different indicators. I usually just keep it clean for the post market, but this is one of the indicators. One of my mentors actually taught me, or someone that I really like that's really good at charting. This red is the 13 EMA, the 50 is the yellow EMA. When the 13 crosses the 50 down, that's usually a bear cross. That's what it's called, a bear cross. So we crossed down. This is a 4-hour chart, guys. So it just crossed yesterday pre-market, and we barely even got a move. It's been up ever since, and right now they're meeting right there. So 190.65 is the red, and 190.72 is the yellow. If the red crosses back above the yellow, this trade is invalid. I'm going to have to get out. But if we get a fat pullback on Monday, this trade is still valid. So I took a small position. I'm going to add to it next week. If the bear cross stands and we pull back on Monday, I'll probably add to these. I do have till April. So that's my plan on AXP. Other than that, daily, you can go to the daily. Obviously, it's not a reason to buy something just because, but MACD crossed down 4 days ago, and usually it's not just a 4-day move when the MACD crosses on the daily. Stochastics are still overdone. They're cooling off a little bit, but you know, it shows a little bit more pullback in my opinion. But we have to see on Monday. If this bear cross stands, I'll keep them. If they don't, I'll cut them. No big deal. I made money from the calls. It covers me. SE earnings on Tuesday. This is a big one to watch, guys. I think this one is way underpriced here. It came all the way down from 370s, and it's one of my favorite companies. I know everything about this company. It's great. I have some still in my retirement account, and I will add equity soon, probably on Monday. Other than that, yesterday we had the 130s for 5. They went up to 15 today. I sold them for 7 because I'm paper-handed and weak. But nice follow through today. We got over all the resistances from the previous 4 days, and now the next resistance is a 21 day at 145, which indicates we still have an 8 point move up. And earnings should be good on Tuesday. Monday, I might take a shot on these earnings. Obviously, it'll be a gamble, but I know the company. I think they're going to crush it. AMD, $8 billion share buyback yesterday. Huge move yesterday. Nice move today. And again, I'm going to be watching this one very closely. I love chip names. They're very strong. You need semiconductors for the company, company, any technology basically. And the weekly shows me that if we close, or the monthly, sorry, look at the monthly. Monthly on AMD just looks like a big old bull flag. So big move up for like 6 months straight. 2 months of consolidation, bounced off the 21-day moving average, and now if we close above 119.50 on Monday, which isn't asking for much, it closed at 121. If we close above 119, we're still above the 8-day moving average. This is still a bullish trend overall. Tesla usually runs on Mondays. I took some 900 calls there at the end of the day. See if we can get a gap up on Monday. I'll probably get rid of them. If we open flat or slightly down and then go take the high of day, I might even hold these because Tesla had some big flow call orders I seen today. Everyone's buying $1,000 calls for December, for March, for April. I seen a bunch of orders come in, and usually when those big boys start hitting Tesla calls, that's usually when it runs. Let's see what happens next week. I hope you guys had a great week. I know I did, and most of MSL, looking at what you guys are posting, looks like you had a great week too. I will